Imagine you've got 10 years of driver recruiting experience. Now, do you actually have 10 years of experience, or do you have 1 year of experience repeated 10 times? Think about that. There's a huge difference there. Today, we're going to be listening to the same recruiter a year apart, and we want you to be the judge. Did the recruiter make significant progress from 1 year to the next? Now, we're going to be sharing ideas along the way, and I really think you'll want to listen into this so that you can see if a recruiter with a ton of experience is learning from year to year, or if they're just repeating the same thing over and over again. We've got a special guest with us today who's going to help us dive into this topic. Hey everybody, welcome to Listening In. I'm extremely pumped about today's episode for two reasons. First and foremost, we've got a special guest on today, and I'm going to give him a minute in just a second here to introduce himself. But here's a guy that may be in more offices around the country than anybody else, at least that I know of, doing this very specific thing, right? Helping recruiting teams across the country. And then the second thing is the content we're going to cover today is going to be fantastic. So looking forward to this episode quite a bit. All right, Scott, so happy to have you on, man. Thank you for joining us. If you could, man, give us the high-level overview. Who is Scott Maldonado?
Absolutely. Good afternoon, everybody. Seth, thanks for having me on. You know, I'm sitting here in Phoenix, Arizona, where it's about 112 degrees. And who is Scott Maldonado? I'm just a gentleman that's been in the industry for close to 30 years. You know, I started back in 1996 and been doing it ever since then. Operational background, recruiting background, and the last 8 years, I've had the pleasure of working with multiple carriers across the nation. A good example of that is, let's say, the last 12 months. And I was looking at the numbers yesterday. I was talking to a friend of mine, and I've had the pleasure of sitting in with 42 different trucking companies in the last 12 months.
Wow.
So working with them in their office, with their operations group, with their recruiting group, with their safety departments. So that's what I do. I just work with carriers across the nation.
Awesome, man. Well, really looking forward to hearing some of your insights today. As per usual, we're going to be listening to a couple phone calls, okay? Sometimes I know we listen to just maybe one, but the reason we're listening to two today is we're going to be listening to the same recruiter, two different conversations exactly a year apart. So same company, same recruiter, exactly a year apart, these conversations. And we're going to share some insights. Now, to protect the innocent, as per usual, these calls will be recorded, all names and everything taken out, so don't worry about that. But do worry about the content, right? So listen in with us, and we'll break these calls down together. So without further ado, Scott, I'm going to play the first call, and I'll try to keep an eye on you out of the corner of my eye because I don't want us to talk over the audio. So if you got a thought or something, give me a signal, wave me down, I'll pause it, and we'll talk about it. Sound good?
Yes, sir.
All right, here we go.
Welcome. For quality assurance purposes, your call may be monitored and recorded. To continue, please press 1. Please hold while your call is being transferred.
Super Duper Recruiting, this is Cosmo.
All right, right off the bat, Scott, I'm going to pause it there. So looking at the timeline here, looks like the driver was on hold for about 35 seconds. What do you think about that, man? I know you listened to a ton of phone calls. How would you rate that hold time? I mean, would you say that's high, low, average? What are your thoughts on the hold time there?
Well, that's actually a metric years ago that we put in place to reduce the ring to answer time frame. So keep in mind, as a truck driver, but 30 years ago, 1996, me sitting at a payphone waiting for my driver manager to answer. It might have been 30 seconds to me, but to him, I'm sorry, or her, but it was actually more like 5 to 10 minutes to me. So it's
Yeah,
definitely longer than most people like to be on hold.
for sure, for sure. All right. Well, I'll keep playing it then, and then, like I said, we'll pause it along the way. The calls we're listening to aren't very long, right? But I think there's still plenty of things that we can cover here, good, bad, and the ugly. So let's.
I would like
Yeah,
to
go ahead.
touch on one thing really quick.
Yeah, fire
As we
away.
listen to these calls, and again, I've had the pleasure of working with so many folks throughout the years. We could pick any call apart,
Right,
right? So we could pick this call we're on right now and say, "Hey, Seth, your voice, your tone," or Scott, your voice, your tone, your mannerisms, right?
right.
So keep that in mind when we share.
100%, 100%. Yep, thank you. All right, here we go.
Well, hey, Cosmo, my name's Bob Sacramento. I saw an ad for recruitment, and I was wanting to call and check and see about it.
Okay, and do you have any recent tractor trailer experience?
All right, I know I paused it already. We barely listened to any of it, right? But I think there's already a missed opportunity from the recruiter's standpoint of here the driver's talking about, hey, he saw something online and he took an action. And Scott, what was the recruiter's response to the driver? Where did he take the call next?
Well, the recruiter went right into what's in it for me. So
Right.
he went right into what's in it for me. Hey, do you have experience? I believe he asked him, do you have tractor trailer experience? But let's take 2 steps backwards and let's chat about the introduction. Right? Was that a Chick-fil-A introduction? Was he happy to be there? We have to keep in mind that, we set the tone of the call when we pick the phone up. And if
Right.
we're not excited to be here, should that driver be?
I like it. I like it. The other thing that I was thinking about right along with that is the recruiter had an opportunity to say, hey, thank you so much for calling in. I'm excited to have this conversation with you. We offer a great job and I want to learn more about you, right? Just something to set that tone of, hey, glad that you called us because we know you got a lot of options out there. So, all right, let's keep it going.
11 years and counting.
Okay. Are you driving with anyone currently?
Yeah.
And what are you looking for as a type of driving job at this point?
Something close to the 90,000 range.
Okay, and
All right. Did you give me the signal? I think I saw it.
Yeah, I think I gave you a signal there.
All right.
So when a driver, and I coach this across the nation, and majority of the recruiters, a lot of recruiters are doing this, so I applaud them. When a driver says he has 11 years or she has 11 years experience, you want to applaud the driver. Thank them for that.
Right.
Right? Because 11 years is huge. Don't blow by that opportunity.
Yep. No, really good point. Really good point. I was trying to think. I felt like there was something else in that little snippet there. It wasn't much, but I agree with you. Here's a driver with 11 years. This is a great opportunity, right? Somebody that's bringing a ton of. Oh, I remember what it was now. Was the recruiter so far didn't ask. He asked if he's currently working. The driver says yes, but do we know why they're thinking about leaving? We don't. Right? We didn't ask the question.
Absolutely. So are you currently working? Again, that's what's in it for me. I'm trying to uncover, do you qualify? Right. So I ask recruiters to stack their questions or, hey man, who are you currently working with and what's going on over there that's making you want to give me a call?
Love it. The benefit of that then is we know where to take the call next, right? But at this point, we know that he wants to make more money, so that might have something to do with it. But we really don't know much beyond what his motivation is. So let's keep listening.
And what's your zip code?
Yeah, it's 12121.
All right, let's see. And do you have a hazmat endorsement?
Yes, sir.
Let's see. Okay, so I do have a box store, like Midwest Regional Fleet. But that, realistically, it's probably going to be more around the, let me see. Yeah, it's going to be more around the 70 to 80,000 range for that. Top performers are about 90. Let's see. Otherwise, like team, would make you more, but I know that not everybody's open to doing team. But those would be the main things.
I don't know about you, Scott, but I feel like this recruiter's got a lot of assumptions that he's making, right? Instead of asking the question, he's kind of telling the driver what to think about it. I don't know. Did you pick up on that as well? What did you hear?
Absolutely. He's steering them that direction. A lot of the times we do that is we share what we don't have, or we share where we want the driver to go versus asking the driver what he or she's looking for. Now, he did ask, what is it you're looking for? He asked a few questions. Do you have recent experience? What is it you're looking for? Do you have hazmat? Where do you live? So it's more qualifying. When he said, what are you looking for? He should slow down, take time there, do a little bit of active listening, and ask better questions, or more questions, not better questions. Ask more questions.
I agree. What's an example of a good question that he might ask there?
Absolutely. When he says, hey, so what is it you're looking for? And the young man says, I'm looking for a job making $90,000. Awesome. So pay sounds like it's important to you. Aside from pay, let me ask you, what else is important? And more than likely, he might say benefits. He might say home time. He'll give you a couple more. But you want to kind of dig deep and just, uncover a little more about what he's looking for. That way you can also build rapport with him.
Awesome. Love it. All right. We'll keep going. We'll listen to the end here. There's only about maybe 50 seconds left of this call, so we'll listen to the end.
In your area right now.
Oh, team, yeah, that. Okay, all right. I was just wanting to check and see how often do you guys like shift?
Well, I mean, there's other runs, but I like the one that I would think probably make what you're looking to do. It would be driver unload account for frugal fannies. But box store, that's no touch freight. But your amount of experience would be at 62 cents a mile. So I mean, possibilities there, for that 90 range on that account. But that account is open for people that have hazmat, and that is solo. It's 12 days out, 2 days home, running in the Midwest.
Okay. All right, well, thank you, sir.
All right, thank you. Bye.
Okay, bye.
All right. What did you think about the way that call ended?
Well, again, a lot of the times in recruiting or anything we do, we want to have the answer versus ask great, powerful questions. And that's what he's doing. He said, what do you want to make? He said $90,000. And so he says, hey, look, 62 cents a mile, but that account. So using the word but kind of negates the 62 cents a mile, and we can get you that $90,000.
Right.
He also sounded like he might have been rushing him off the phone. I don't know that he caught it. I don't know that he captured the driver's information to enter him into his ATS.
Right. And 11 years of experience, right? It's not like this is a new driver that it's not bringing anything to the table. I mean, this is a guy that's got a lot of experience under his belt. And clearly the driver, by the end of the call, wasn't interested, right? But I think we still missed an opportunity to understand a little bit more about that driver and see if, gosh, can we find something that works for him? Now, I'll give the recruiter kudos because I felt like they had a decent understanding of the lanes that are available, right? So the recruiter could speak to that. But yeah, I just don't think we gave the driver an opportunity to really express what he's thinking. And so we missed an opportunity to really have a good conversation with him.
Absolutely, Seth. And we're looking at these uncertain times right now in our industry, and we keep saying, you see the buzzwords out there online, but we are in some different times, like we were in 2007, 2008, right?
Yep.
So with the 11-year driver, you're going to hear fleets out there say they're cleaning their fleets up, right? They're being more selective of who they hire.
Yeah.
This would have been a great candidate with 11 years experience just based off what he said. Of course, you got to run his PSP, his MVR, and his record, but he's got 11 years experience. He might be the perfect candidate to help you, right size your fleet or bring in the right driver.
Absolutely. So, okay, so we're going to jump to the second call now, Scott, and then do a little compare and contrast, because it's something that you and I talk about a lot, which is a recruiter might have 10 years of recruiting experience, but that doesn't always mean they actually have 10 years of experience. It might be that they have 1 year of experience repeated 10 times, right? And we say that a lot because that is a big difference between somebody who's doing the same thing over and over again, not getting better at it, versus somebody who actually is making improvement year after year after year. So
I tell you, Seth, and I can touch on that.
Yeah,
so
please.
for close to 20 years, I was with the same carrier, and folks in the industry that know me know who I worked with for close to 20 years. And I had 20 years of experience is what I felt. But the last 8 years, when I've had the pleasure of working with so many different carriers, I realized in the last 8 years, I've really sharpened my skills and really changed the way that I recruit and lead and coach and do what I do.
Love it.
You know, so I really had 20 years of doing the same thing over and over again. The last 8 years have been eye-opening.
Yep, big difference.